We all have one common enemy. His name is Satan, and right now his minions are trying to run this country.
The German nation does not wish its interests to be determined and controlled by any foreign nation. France to the French, England to the English, America to the Americans, and Germany to the Germans. We are resolved to prevent the settlement in our country of a strange people which was capable of snatching for itself all the leading positions in the land and to oust it.
Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it.
On September 11th, 2001, were perhaps the most shocking and terrifying events in U.S. history.
The witness called police, who stopped the van hours later and arrested 5 men. All 5, it turns out, were Israeli.
And I could see that they were, happy. I thought it was very strange.
They have to get the blessings of this country before they can swear an oath to our Constitution. They won't get any spotlight in the Zionist-funded media. And one of the scariest things in the world is that nobody is willing to admit that. Nobody wants to have that conversation. Why is our army not arresting pedophiles who put their dicks in little kids' faces during the whole month of June?
Sue me, everybody do me, kick me, kite me, don't jump like a fight.
The Jewish watchword, workers of the world unite, workers of all classes and of all nations, recognize your common enemy. Recognize your common enemy.
If that's the one sensitive subject that nobody wants us to talk about, then I think it's pretty obvious that's the thing that we should be talking about.
The Jews will control the world.
They don't really care about us.
Occupied coming to the Stu Peters Network this fall, likely exclusively to StuPeters.com. I don't know who in the hell is going to air that thing, who has the testicular fortitude to put that on their video hosting platforms, but I will tell you that this is probably, actually, definitely the most important film that we could think about putting out, especially in light of what we saw last night at the RNC. J.D. Vance. So you want to talk about the occupation of our government by a strange people. There's a strange one. Who are his allegiances to? He bows to the same paymasters as Trump. We've criticized Trump for this. We were hoping that this was going to change. Don't see any signs of that. By all intents and purposes, the only way for us to eliminate an imminent threat that faces our children and our country is to be able to properly identify them. And by this point, we've all been told that President Trump was allegedly shot, nearly killed by this 20-year-old misfit called Thomas Matthew Crooks during his campaign stop on Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. And as I'm sure that you know, Trump's right ear was allegedly grazed by a .223 caliber bullet reportedly fired from this AR-style weapon, and the bullet was just millimeters away from going straight into the 45th president's brain. Sounds perfect. So naturally, since this happened, there's been a lot of questions raised, including by us here on this program and at this network, about what exactly in the hell happened on Saturday and about who's actually behind this shooting. Because to anyone who's looking at this objectively, to anyone who's looking at this like a reasonable person, there's just absolutely no way that some 20-year-old guy, some kid who couldn't get out of his own way, pulled all of this off by himself. Thomas Matthew Crooks, who of course is now known by his full name just like Lee Harvey Oswald, is being described by people who knew him, people who went to school with him, as a loner. Some have speculated that he may be autistic, and it's been reported that he was extremely gifted in science and math, winning awards in both subjects during high school. Despite all of that, he wasn't going to college, and he considered himself lucky to have gotten a job delivering food to patients at a nursing home. So by any metric, this guy was absolutely no overachiever. And with all of that said, it's very difficult for most people to imagine, maybe even impossible, at least it is for us here, that this guy managed to evade security and police and Secret Service, climb onto a roof where a ladder was already in place, apparently, carefully placed by someone. Who placed that ladder there? Anybody bothering to ask that question? He took a 150-yard shot, which is merely 430 some odd feet, and almost ended, allegedly, President Trump's life, killing a rally attendee in the process who we're not hearing a whole lot about either. Trump, we're told, tilted his head at just the right angle, at just the right fraction of a second for this bullet to just graze his ear, because if he hadn't, we're told, he would be dead. He would have been shot right in the brain, and he would have died right there on that stage. This entire attack, make no mistake, was executed almost flawlessly, up until the point that the bullets didn't hit their target, up until the point that Trump moved his head, and threw the entire thing out of whack. So, like I said, nobody in their right mind thinks that this was some kind of a lone wolf attack coordinated by some genius assassin. At the very least, one thing that's very obvious, one thing that stands out to us that can pretty much be proven to anyone who watches footage of this event is that law enforcement, from the Secret Service down to the local police, failed miserably. More realistically, they stood down. Or they helped set it up, or they knew it was coming. Shortly after this shooting, eyewitnesses started saying, hey, we saw this shooter on the roof. We saw him getting into position for several minutes. And when we started alerting police, we were just ignored. And while some tried casting doubts on what these witnesses had to say, there's plenty of video footage showing all of this happening. It shows rally attendees screaming for the police, trying to get someone's attention as this psycho gets into position and starts taking wide open shots at President Trump with no resistance.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful places, the gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And Scott, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went flat on the roof, big guy.
So that's pretty bad, but if that's not bad enough, if you haven't seen this next video clip, it's sure to make you sick because one of these Secret Service snipers, he was on top of the roof with his scope on the Trump shooter and let him get his shots off. And to make it even worse, if you can imagine that being possible, for a while on Saturday, the corporate media and a bunch of retarded accounts on X tried to pass this guy off as some kind of a hero, as the guy who took out the sniper and saved the day. But in reality, there's a whole different story. Look.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And guess what? It gets worse. A pair of local cops actually came into direct contact, we're told, with this alleged shooter when he was on the roof with his gun. So this guy, who we're told was in position to kill Trump, was approached by police and they didn't do anything about it. As a matter of fact, we're told they got scared and ran away, that they stood down and let it happen. CNN reported that, quote, Butler Township officers received calls about a suspicious person outside of the perimeter of the rally and went looking to find that person. The initial calls did not indicate that the suspicious person had a gun. During the search for the suspicious person, officers with township police discovered that the gunman was on the roof and one local officer hoisted another to get up to the ledge. The shooter, we're told, turned around, saw the officer peering over, pointed his gun at him. The officer let go of the ledge to take cover and save his own life. The gunman then started firing from the rooftop. End quote. So Trump almost got his head blown off because some local cop got scared to do his job. And did you catch that line about this rooftop being, quote, outside the perimeter of the rally? This was 150 yards, maximum, from the stage. It was one of a tiny handful of elevated positions anywhere near this rally. And this little freak show, we're told, pulled this whole shooting off by himself and was allowed to climb up there and open fire. At this point, things are so bad. This is such a total disaster that not even the corporate press is denying that this was a big screw up by law enforcement, which also raises suspicion, including by federal law enforcement, which raises even more suspicion under the command of Joe Biden and his Secret Service. So if these people are willing to admit that the ones behind this screw up, are law enforcement and the Secret Service, security at that event, then there's a very high chance, actually a really high probability, that there's a whole lot more to this story. Alex Shepard has been looking into this, and he joins us now to discuss more. Alex, this whole thing sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, there are like 6 buildings right there. It's not like you're in New York City. There's like 6 buildings. That's the closest building. And like you said, he's like 130 yards out. They say he's outside the perimeter. Um, Police saw him, they're saying almost 30 minutes before he shot at Trump. And uh, they're saying they saw him 30 minutes beforehand. The reason the Secret Service didn't secure the perimeter, they're saying the reason they weren't on the rooftop themselves, they said it had a dangerous slope. So you're not able, it's too dangerous for the Secret Service to secure a tiny little slope. So they're going to let the guy sit up there and have a clean shot at the president. Um, yeah, it all stinks. It all smells like a setup.
Starting to look like a false flag, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. And the Secret Service, 100%, whatever happened, they're a big part of this, obviously, because, like you said, it's a failure for the Secret Service to let a president get shot. It doesn't matter what they did after that, but even after that, you have the woman on the Secret Service ducking for cover behind Trump. I mean, it was the most ridiculous looking thing. It 100% looks like a false flag. Secret Service had a big role in January 6th. And
we all agree here that President Trump is the populist president, right? I mean, that Donald Trump's message leads a populist movement, right? I mean, we can all agree on that. We saw it in 2015 going into 16. Very disappointing 4 years in office. There's nobody that's being honest with themselves that are not going to say that Trump disappointed a lot of people. He didn't lock up Hillary Clinton. He didn't finish the wall despite being there for 4 years. He bows to the same paymasters over in this foreign secular nation state of Israel. He puts on the tiny hat. He, humps the wall over there. He's surrounded by the deep state. He's got all of these establishment people right next to him between Lindsey Graham and, Mitch McConnell and Jared Kushner, who were subverting the presidency all the way along. He locked the country down. He's the godfather of the died suddenly injection that killed millions of people and still continues to kill them today. He's not admitted that he was wrong about any of that. I will say that economically speaking, the country was in a whole lot better position. But here's what we have. So we have this undying feeling of this environment of idolatry when it comes to President Trump. Me just saying what I just said, which is the god dang truth, those things will allow me to lose followers. I will lose followers when I say the truth, the facts, what happened during Trump's presidency. And there's a whole lot more, by the way, as well. The endorsements that he's making. I mean, there's all kinds of different things where you can point at this guy and say, hey, as a public servant, as the president of the United States that works to do the bidding of the American people and work in their interests and the interests of the country, we are your boss. You work for us. We're going to hold you accountable. People don't do that. They just make excuses for this guy. No matter what he does, they make excuses for President Trump. Well, the media knows that. So do his paymasters in Israel. Everybody knows that. This is the perfect opportunity to make Trump completely unbeatable. We're going to take a shot at him. We're going to make him totally unbeatable. He is going to be undefeatable. He will win in a Reagan-esque type fashion, sweeping the nation. He will be hoisted into power. He will bring with him J.D. Vance. And by the way, all of the rest of the VP nominated selections, whatever they were, the notables, they were just as bad. The only one worse, I think, could have been Marco Rubio. But he's going to win. And then it's my prediction that there are going to be millions of people who supported Trump whose jaws are going to drop on the floor as he does the unthinkable with this second term as a president of the United States on behalf of Israel and the Jewish people, his overlords, his paymasters that control him and have occupied our government. I mean, I'm not saying that Trump was directly involved or set this thing up, but somebody knows exactly what they were doing. And I sure as hell know that this 20-year-old freak show didn't pull this off by himself and climb up here and nearly missed the president, especially knowing that these MK Ultra mind control people that work at on behalf of the government or foreign governments, they're not missing. These people aren't going to just miss. And if they miss on their first shot, they're going to take as many as it takes until the guy is taken out. The guy points a gun at law enforcement and he's not shot. There's just, this thing stinks to high hell, Alex.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We look at certain things. The people on the right, they'll look at things like Charlottesville and very easily be able to say, well, that was a setup. That was staged. January 6th, that was staged. But the moment it's something that would help the right politically, people kind of turn their blinders on and they say, well, how could you say that? People are saying, well, you think that was staged? There's no way that could have happened. I, as someone who, I'm an America First Christian, like you said, I'm really not with all the Israel stuff, and we've talked about that, but that is a big issue. But I can see objectively, as a Christian, telling the truth, that it very well easily could have been a false flag, could have been something. We have psyops all over the place. The world is a stage, and who's behind it, whether it's, like you said, you think it's it could be Jews, it could be Freemasons. There's a lot of Freemasons behind this. I mean, it's a lot of occult stuff. There's a lot of occult secret societies running the world. They're Epstein's buddies, and they have ties to the Mossad and CIA, and we're just pawns in the game. So I'm with you. Who knows?
Do you think we'll ever know the truth about what really happened on Saturday? The FBI is in charge of this investigation, if that says anything.
Yeah.
These are the same people who went and kicked down the doors of other America First patriots who were praying solemnly on the Capitol building steps, or who took a police-guided tour through the Capitol building on January 6th. I mean, these are the people that were told. Merrick Garland's DOJ.
Yeah, I trust them as far as I can throw them. The FBI, the DOJ, they're not going to investigate well. Secret Service, they're not going to investigate well. The fact that the FBI is leading the investigation, it's a huge red flag. If we really wanted to know what went on, which I think we all should, because if that was real, if that was seriously someone trying to take out the president of the United States, then we need, really, the military should be investigating that seriously, because what we witnessed was basically a near coup at that point. Because where would Republicans have gone if they took out Trump before he makes his VP choice? If they would have took him out, Trump voters, I mean, Joe Biden would have easily just had the next election, or who knows, it would have been a civil war at that point, because you're assassinating a president of the United States. So yeah, there's a lot more questions than there are answers at this point.
I don't really like the Civil War rhetoric either, because that's what they want us to do. I mean, that's what these people would love for us to do, is to be able to take over this country without them firing a single shot, with us firing at each other. We don't have anything to fight about, because what we're looking at here is constructs. The left-right paradigm of conservatives and liberals, or Republicans and Democrats fighting across this fake aisle. It's all fake. And, the BlackRock-controlled media has done a very good job. By the way, this guy appeared in a BlackRock commercial, ironically. They deleted that, but the internet's forever. We aired it yesterday on the program during a monologue that I was doing on this whole thing. And, here's the idea. Trump the man is one thing, but Trump the message is what polarizes him so much, because perfectly like an AI bot, Donald Trump, going into the 2016 election, downloaded all of the sentiment of the American populace, right? And then he flawlessly regurgitated that in a very antagonistic, bullish way, calling out the media, talking about how fake news, runs the country, having a nickname for everyone. He made people laugh. He was charismatic. He delivered a bulletproof message in such a way that, of course, that populace is going to say, wow, this is our man. He's the perfect guy. He is the perfect guy to deliver the message of the American people. And that's why when I talk about Donald Trump, I'm not talking about the man. I'm talking about Donald Trump's message in the American people. Donald Trump's message is the message of the American people. So this was a shot at the American people. This was a shot at the message. This was a shot at America First, the idea, the ideology. And as much as maybe in the natural it was a shot at Trump, I'm not believing that this was all organic. I don't believe that this was a lone wolf situation. I believe that he was placed there. The ladder was placed there. I believe that law enforcement and the Secret Service intentionally stood down. I believe that they may have helped to set it up, that it was all planned. And, I will say that Trump could have been in on it. I don't know. I mean, this is not what it appears. And when you watch the corporate media to see what they're lying about today, just go and look at what they're saying. So if CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS and all of these, so-called left-wing media outlets, if they're all saying the same thing that the Fox News channel is saying, because of course they're all owned by the same people, but if these people are being sentimental to President Trump, just all of it, Alex, it's just, I don't know that we'll ever really know. Trump was also supposed to declassify the JFK stuff. I don't think he ever did that either. Did he?
No, he did not. You mentioned the vaccines earlier too. I don't know if you saw yet, but a call leaked this morning where he's on the phone with Robert Kennedy Jr., basically offering him a spot in the administration, talking about the vaccines vaccines in general are killing everyone. To your point about the MK Ultra, I think that's a very real possibility that, the CIA, they take these kids and they train them to be gunmen, and it 100% could have been a false flag. And I think that the FBI, the CIA, all those people could 100% have tried to kill him, or maybe just the PSYOP. To your point, this is what I wanted to say. There was a particular shooting that someone got sued $1 billion for asking questions about.
Yeah.
That shooting, that really opened my eyes to a lot of this stuff going on, because they published a picture of a kid. All these news outlets published a picture of a kid and said this kid died. And then the kid's mother posted on Facebook, hey, this is my kid and he's still alive and we don't live in where. And she posted that. And all the mainstream media outlets, CNN, Fox, all of them, they kept the story exactly the same, but they changed the picture of the kid. So to your point, it's not left wing, it's not right wing, it's the puppet masters, it's the people really controlling what's going on.
We're going to continue to talk about all of this in such a way where we are looking at this being an ideological message of what the populace actually really wants, and that there is a machine that is trying to crush it. And Donald Trump is inadvertently, I believe, being used by God. I do, whether he knows it or not. I think that he said that he wanted to be the president that prayed the most in the White House, but underachieved in that regard. I don't know if he loves Jesus. I don't know, but God will use good people and ill-intended people to accomplish his mission. And right now, I just know that if he's with us, who can be against us? Alex Shepard, thank you so much. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, Stu. God bless.
There's a whole bunch of stories that have to be dug into, rethought, reconsidered, and in some cases completely discarded.
As modern Americans, we've been spoon-fed this dumbed-down, cartoonish, simplified version of history. It's all fake. It's all bullshit. Everything that we have been taught is part of a self-serving narrative written by the people who will say and do anything to keep us on a leash. Now, this version of history, some big-name corrupt families like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and their many associates are credited over and over and over again with propelling human development. Throughout the late 18 and early 1900s, almost every major American city was burnt to the ground. What if we really are quite literally living atop the ashes of an advanced civilization that's been hidden from us for our entire lives? This is getting out of control. Our government is sinking $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. That's right, $1 trillion every 100 days. Do you want to bail the government out of debt? Yeah, no, I don't think so. You see, when people worry about the national debt, they often turn to safe haven assets. That's why thousands of people have called Goldco, the #1 rated gold company, so that they can diversify their money with time-tested safe haven assets, physical gold and silver. Today, Goldco is offering fans of this show up to 10% instant match in bonus silver with a qualified account. Just call them, 855-706-GOLD. Again, 855-706-GOLD. Free bonus silver, a half-ounce silver coin, free gold and silver information kit. What are you waiting for? Safeguard your money with physical gold and silver, just like I did with Goldco.
Call 855-706-GOLD. Again, 855-706-GOLD, or just visit them online at stulikesgold.com. Again, that's stulikesgold.com.
What if I told you there was a hostile alien species that controls your appetite, sleep, and focus? Invaders that urinate and defecate throughout your body whenever they are hungry. We call them parasites, and they are the root cause of many health issues that result in pain, suffering, and death. The Purge is our solution. Purge Suddenly offers a unique blend of 17 detoxifying ingredients, including black walnut hull and wormwood, scientifically proven to not only kill parasites, but to destroy and flush them out. If you've never gone through a parasite cleanse or didn't do it the right way, our proven formula prepares you for a complete and total victory. Increased alertness, weight loss, and clear skin are just a few of the potential benefits customers have reported back. Kill the parasites, destroy their eggs, and build a big, beautiful wall inside your body to keep them out. It is time to purge suddenly. It's you or them. Make your move now.